We see, 8 to 10% of the customers that have a mobile service experience come back in for additional service to the main shop within 60 days, right? Either something's been diagnosed at the time a mobile service can be repaired, or that appointment gets scheduled. And when they come back, they are spending more than the average service customer is in the shop.
Welcome to Retention Roadmap, navigating service success for new car dealerships. I am really excited to have Todd Rabourn with us today. Todd is the Director of Global Customer Experience Implementation at Ford Motor Company, and he's leading the charge on Ford's game-changing mobile service initiative. And if you've been wondering how dealerships can make service more convenient, keep customers loyal, and stand out from the competition, Todd's got the answers today. So today we're going to dive into how Ford's mobile service is really reshaping the way dealerships can connect with their customers and driving retention like never before. So we look forward to it, and we'll get right into it. So Todd, great to see you again, and welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, Bill, thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here. So excited for the discussion.
Likewise, my pleasure. So Todd, can you start out by maybe giving us an overview of Ford's remote service initiative and your role in implementing it across dealerships around the country, and kind of what inspired Ford to take this step in expanding mobile service options for dealerships and vehicle owners?
Yeah. No, that's a great, meaty starting off question. So, I think for us, we just see the opportunity in to remove friction from customers' lives, right? Make it easier for them to do business with us, and really drive that retention. And we believe that by providing convenience for our customers, they will come back and continue that service with us. And, it goes back a little bit, even pre-pandemic, we started looking at, mobile service and pickup and delivery, and our luxury brand with Lincoln was doing pickup and delivery well before the pandemic. So they were kind of the leaders for helping us get there. But, pandemic hit. We had to come up with a different way to do service when people didn't want to leave the house and didn't want to do different things, and certainly spend time in a waiting room with other people. So we launched Pick 'em Delivery nearly, that weekend that everything shut down, and started to kind of get out there. At the same time, we had a pilot with mobile service that was underway. Small pilot, can we prove this out? Can we make it work? And we saw encouraging results, obviously great customer feedback right out of the gate. And so that born kind of let's really go after this. And we believe we can differentiate the brand and retain our customers, right? And when I say differentiate the brand, I'm not necessarily talking about with other OEMs, but just in general, in terms of taking care of the customer, right? Can we provide that convenience that makes it easier for them to service their vehicles with us and keep coming back? So that's when it kind of started, pandemic, a little bit pre-pandemic, and we've really worked closely with our dealers, our dealer partners. We've got a few dealer council teams, parts and service advisory committee, and then just various dealers across the country we've partnered with to really get feedback and grow this over time and get to where we are today with it.
That's great. You mentioned pickup and delivery, and I'm curious, since you started that pickup and delivery right at the beginning of the pandemic, I think there was a lot of expectation at that point that this was going to be a normalized thing once things got back to normal, which of course took a lot longer than most of us expected. That pickup and delivery would continue to grow, and the expectation on the customer's behalf was that this would be a standard service. Has that proven out to be true, or has demand continued to grow for pickup and delivery, or has it shrunk back down?
Yeah, no, we've seen both demand for both pickup and delivery and mobile service over the last, call it 2.5, 3 years. Both of them grow substantially. So
Okay.
I was kind of joking with some peers not too long ago that when I first got in this job, 2.5 years ago, that we were celebrating, doing 20,000 experiences in a month. And now we're doing, 350, 360,000 experiences. That's between mobile service and pickup and delivery. And it's,
Wow.
150 to 170,000 pickup delivery, and, the balanced mobile service. So it's about 50-50 split. We've seen both of them grow, and we see really good kind of retention metrics between both of them, right? From a customer standpoint, customer sentiment standpoint.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, since you brought up the metrics part, but and we'll talk about metrics a little bit later, but can you maybe share with us a little off the bat, in terms of what impact you're seeing on retention between mobile service and pickup and delivery?
Yeah, so we've done, a lot of work now that we've got enough volume to really dig into this, but we see more out of warranty customers coming back to us. We see, typically there's a drop off when customers go out of warranty. We see more retention for out of warranty customers. We see more women taking advantage of remote experiences, both pickup and delivery and mobile service than main shop. And we see more customers that we haven't seen, in a 12 or 24 month period coming back to us as well too. So we see that retention coming back, and we see much higher customer satisfaction scores, right? Mobile service is scoring, anywhere from 10 to 12 points higher on an NPS, a net promoter score, which is really significant,
It
right?
is, yeah.
Early indicator of retention. So we're definitely starting to see more engagement with those customers that are experiencing remote experiences, right? Be it
Hmm.
mobile or pickup and delivery.
Yeah, yeah. Are there any key goals that you can share with us that Ford hopes to achieve with this initiative, particularly in terms of enhancing that customer experience and building those stronger relationships with your customers?
Yeah, well, and that is the key goal, right? Is to kind of fortify those relationships and build that engagement, loyalty with our customers, and keep them coming back to our brand. We've got a pretty loyal, vehicle owner base, but we want to keep them coming back to our dealers for service, right? And provide that level of service, and pick up and delivery and mobile service provide that convenience that a lot of customers come to expect from in their daily lives, regardless of what industry they're dealing with, right? So we want to provide that experience as well too, and really bring that friction-free kind of make it convenient for them, do service on their time. You think about one of the great things we have at Ford is what we call kind of this power of choice, and you might have seen some of the marketing around power of choice, right? ICE vehicles, electric vehicles, hybrid vehicles. Well, I would also say we're trying to do that with the service side. Give the customers the power of choice on how they want to service their vehicle, whether that's a main shop visit, coming to one of our quick lanes that the dealers are operating, or through mobile service or pickup and delivery, right? So we're trying to kind of open up that suite of service to make it convenient for them to come back and do service with us.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
So moving on to kind of some of the challenges that you see in implementing remote service, what have been some of those more significant challenges that your dealerships have faced, particularly in the past when
Yeah.
trying to implement remote service, and how have those hurdles kind of been addressed and hopefully impacted positively the adoption rates of mobile service?
Yeah, and it's been a journey in that space, right? And I think it
Yeah.
starts with there's obviously an investment that needs to be made, maybe more so in pickup or more so in mobile service, but also in pickup and delivery, right? Whether that's staffing, obviously there's equipment requirements, whether it's a loaner vehicle or a pool vehicle to go pick up a customer for mobile service, the van itself, right? And the tooling to equip the van. So there's obviously a financial investment that needs to happen. Technician availability. Do we have the technicians available to man the mobile service vehicles? That has been one of the primary obstacles to overcome over time. And then you get into things like logistics and technology platforms to help make the operation more um, efficient and sustainable, right? As opposed to Google Docs or whiteboards to keep your scheduling in
Yeah.
place, right? So, and those are some areas we're still working on and exploring different ways to get better with that. But I would say those are kind of the primary areas, right? Investment, people, technology or technicians, and kind of the logistics and route optimization. And then it's frankly, I think it's a little bit of mindset. It's just change. It's something new, something different, in an environment where our stores are very busy, right? They already have busy service stuff, so this is added complexity to their operation. But again, we believe and we are seeing the payoff is worth the investment.
Yeah. From we were talking before we started recording about the fact that mobile service has been around for some time in various ways, shapes, and forms. And I'm curious, from your perspective, what do you think has been, from a technological perspective, some of the key tools that have been developed that are really game changing in 2024 versus pick years in the past, that have helped mobile service be more efficient or more widely adapted?
Yeah, I think we're still working on finding what that right solution is. There's obviously some third parties out there, and I know you've had some discussions with some of them as well too, focused on driving efficiencies for mobile service. For pickup and delivery, we've used a software company, RedCap, to help us with operationalizing pickup and delivery and creating consistent customer experiences, right? The communication with the customer, et cetera. And on mobile service, we're continuing to kind of work on what is that cohesive strategy, and actually have a tool that we're going to be launching with our dealers. We've got about 100 dealers on a internal tool right now, and we're going to be enhancing that and rolling that out as well too, to help them operationalize their mobile service.
Great, great.
Yeah.
I wanted to shift the conversation, if we could, Todd, to kind of the role of tires in remote service. I think we're both preaching to the choir when we talk about the importance of tires in retaining customers. We know that tires are a big defection point. So how do you see, tire repair and replacement fitting into Ford's remote service offerings, and kind of what are the operational challenges you run up against that a dealership might face when providing these services outside the walls of the dealership?
Yeah, I think from a mobile service standpoint, we've got a few mobile service vans equipped to do tires. I think there's some challenges with scaling that up right now that we haven't quite fixed, right? Driving the efficiencies there, but obviously, pickup and delivery is a great option for those customers that want to have their tires rotated, tires changed, right? For the vehicle to come into the shop and get that service done and then be delivered back to them. So we see that and we've got a pretty good tire strategy, right? We always have.
Yeah,
So pickup and delivery is a great enabler for that. Where again, we haven't quite cracked the code completely on how do we scale a mobile service van to do nothing but tires, or do tires and so. But we've got a few out there and learning day to day and getting better with it. So we'll
sure.
continue to evolve in that space.
Yeah. And I think Ford was really probably the leader in terms of, whatever it was, 25 years ago or so, when you started the Around the Wheel program. It's probably longer than that now. And really recognizing that tires and, taking the tires off, and it creates a lot of opportunities for brakes and shocks and that type of thing. When you look forward with respect to specific strategies or best practices that Ford is currently recommending to your dealerships to promote tire services as part of their, remote service initiatives, how do you think that can impact long-term loyalty? And I know that, you're on a steep learning curve here, and it may not be clear, but I'm curious in terms of what you think the future of mobile tire services might look like.
Yeah, I think as the industry evolves, certainly as you talk about more EV adoption, there's a bigger use, to service those EVs with tires going forward. So certainly there's things to leverage there. Obviously, having the right inventory, matching the demand within your market, and being able to do that in a convenient way is really where the magic starts to happen. And we'll continue to evolve in that space. With the mobile service offerings, but like I said initially, pickup and delivery is a great option for that as well too.
Mm-hmm.
And many of our dealers were doing pickup and delivery before we formalized a plan, so it's been out there, but I don't know that it's been the awareness has been there that our dealers actually have been doing this for some time, right? So yeah.
What kind of feedback are you getting from dealership management, around how they feel the mobile experience is enhancing their relationship with their customers and customer retention?
Yeah, it's really fun right now to talk to the dealers en masse, right? And we've had a couple of meetings recently with groups of dealers, and I talk to dealers often, who the pulse and the tone around what we're doing with remote experiences is just, I think we're just building the momentum, right? It's continuing, and I talked to a number of dealers that now say, hey, I'm selling a car a week because I'm offering mobile service, or I picked up a fleet account full time because I could go service their vehicles, or there's just these things that happen. And when you look at our customer feedback, the verbatims we get, the videos we get sent in by customers, I mean, they're really amazing, right? It makes you feel good about the work you're doing when you see the customer reaction to that. In fact,
For sure.
I was talking to another dealer not too long ago, and he said even the text, right? Like, what I love is going to visit with a mobile service tech and how proud they are of their job. They the ownership they have with that mobile service van, and they go out and they take care of the customers, and they're the ones that are interacting with the customers.
Yeah.
Now some techs I think are even getting tips by the customers, right? Because the customers love to see them and are calling for those techs to come back out by name, right? So there's this engagement that just doesn't happen traditionally, right? The way it does with mobile service, which is really fun to see.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask you, going back to something you said earlier, that you're finding that mobile services being particularly adopted by, you're finding it being adopted by women particularly well. But, can you share anything with us in terms of like the average vehicle that is being serviced by mobile service? Is it, typically in warranty, out of warranty, across the board, high mileage, low mileage?
Yeah, no, it's kind of interesting, right? That we've seen more out of warranty customers. In fact, 57% of our pickup and delivery customers are out of warranty. And that's, compared to about 50% of our mobile service customers. So, half, right, of our customers are out of warranty in those cases. And then,
Mm-hmm.
it's similar, not quite as high, but pretty similar. 52% of our mobile service customers, they haven't been back in our network for at least 12 months for service, right? So again, we're seeing some of that come back in as well too. So yeah, there's definitely a higher mix of out of warranty vehicles that we're picking up as a result of remote experiences than service. Yeah.
That's fantastic. What types of things are you finding work in terms of raising awareness of mobile service amongst the customer base?
Yeah, so we've got good engagement support with our dealers with across their marketing, their individual marketing campaigns, as well as with our dealer associations around the country, right? That are making advertising decisions and putting some support around remote experiences. And we'll be doing some more advertising as well too as a brand. We've had a lot of digital and social support, but it'll become maybe a bigger part of our advertising campaigns as we go forward too, right? Really drive that awareness. That's something, we wanted to make sure we had enough coverage across the country and enough dealers engaged in this to start to really market it. We didn't want to market it and have customers be disappointed that their local dealer didn't offer it, right?
Sure,
So,
makes sense.
but now we're past that, and I think the dealers have earned the right to really take advantage of marketing remote experiences. So,
Great.
yeah.
Moving on to talk about KPIs, key performance indicators. I'm curious in terms of what metrics you think dealerships should prioritize to measure the success of their remote service operations, and specifically in terms of customer retention and service frequency and that type of thing. So what kind of metrics do you think dealers really need to focus on with respect to their mobile operations?
Yeah, I mean, one is volume. That's an easy one, right? How many
Yeah,
how many experiences are we providing a month? What percentage of the overall business is in it? But again, I think we've gotten into actually developing a financial statement page for our dealers to leverage. To look at expenses versus output, revenue, profit, et cetera, to drive that. So there's the financial equation, but certainly customer retention is a big one. The customer satisfaction, like I mentioned, the NPS being, for mobile service, 10 to 12 points higher. When you start digging into the activity of those customers post that experience, and you hear the comments or you read the comments, you see those customers come back in more frequently for service, and we're now starting to see more sales, more vehicle sales because of
hmm
it too. So, tracking the customer life cycle, I think, is a big one, right? To show that it is an investment, and that there is this payoff, down the road. Might be 12 months, might be 24 months before you start to see, that loyalty and retention really kick in from those customers. But it is taking place, right? And so I think, it's important that a dealer in performing remote experiences is looking at that customer life cycle, and are they retaining their new vehicle sales customers for service, and are those service customers that they're providing remote experiences, are they coming back in to buy more vehicles from them, over a period of time?
yeah.
Yeah.
Another question I have for you with respect to the impact of mobile service on the dealership's operations is the impact on capacity.
Yeah.
When Jeremy Stevens from Bozard Ford Lincoln was on the show a few months ago, we talked a lot about how that changed his capacity of what type of the workflows and the type of work that he had in his shop versus what was being done remotely. And particularly for dealerships who do have capacity constraints with respect to lifts and technicians and that type of thing, what impact can starting a remote service operation have on freeing up some of that capacity within the dealership service department?
Yeah, no, there's definitely an impact, and Jeremy's a great one to talk to about that as well too, with the size of mobile service operation they have. But we do see mobile service generating hours, and the type of work that you can do via mobile service is not necessarily the type of work you want to tie a bay up for, right?
Yeah,
So we're able to backfill the bay with richer high dollar work. And one thing I would say is we see 8 to 10% of the customers that have a mobile service experience come back in for additional service to the main shop within 60 days, right? Either something's been diagnosed at the time a mobile service can be repaired, or and that appointment gets scheduled. And when they come back, they are spending more than the average service customer is in the shop. So they've had a mobile service, now they're coming back for additional service because it was diagnosed. You made it easy for them, and they're spending more when they come in. So we're seeing, again, if you talk to many dealers, they will tell you the capacity that mobile service is providing by getting some of the lower dollar, quicker maintenance work out of the bay. They're able to backfill that with richer work as well too. So
that's
definitely
great.
an impact, positive impact on capacity.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, that's fantastic. That's a ton of great information there, Todd, and thanks for sharing that with us. Is there anything else that I should be asking you that I'm not, that you'd like our listeners to know about Ford's mobile service initiative and the customer experience associated with it?
Well, no, I really appreciate the time to be able to talk to you today about what we're doing and what our dealers are doing, and what I would tell you is just really proud of the work the dealer network has done over the last 3-4 years to really scale this up. Um, when we started this, we started with 100 vans. We went and piloted it. Today we're at 4,000 vans.
Wow,
The majority of our dealers are performing mobile service. Almost all of them are providing pickup and delivery services. So we are starting to see this engagement. You talked about the dealer engagement. It's really positive, and our dealers are supportive of it. Our dealer council supportive of it. We're doing this in great partnership with our dealers to make it easier for our customers to do business with us and come back. And really proud of what the dealers are doing, and excited about what we're going to see going forward. Right, when we talk about retention and that customer satisfaction coming back. So really proud of what the dealers have done in this space over the last couple of years.
yeah, as you should be. That's fantastic. Yeah, it's really exciting. It's going to be interesting and exciting to see what the
Yeah,
future holds here.
yeah.
Well, Todd, thanks very much for joining us. Really appreciate your time. If any of our listeners want to get a hold of you, have a question for you, what's the best way to find you?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn,
Okay,
certainly out there, and happy to post an email address as well too for somebody to reach out to. But I'm
sure.
pretty active on LinkedIn.
Okay,
Find me out there too. That's a great way to reach out and connect as well.
super. Well, we'll put your LinkedIn link on in the show notes along with your email address, so that if anybody wants to get a hold of you, they'll have that resource. Thanks again, Todd, really for joining us. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Great to be here.
You've been listening to Retention Roadmap, Navigating Service Success for New Car Dealerships. Subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts.